This is where we start, isn't it? Wow, I'm almost out of practice here. Welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday episode of the Paranormal Portal. Hope you all are doing great. Thank you so much for hanging out with me once again. It's hump day. Good to see you guys. Hello, Barbara Mora and Justin Goodearth over there on the Rumble. They're on the Rumble. They're paying for the whole seat, but they'll only need the edge. And hello to the Rusty over on YouTube. And hello to anybody over on Twitch. I'm not sure where Gypsy's been, but I hope she's doing good. But make yourselves at home, whatever's going on, and enjoy the show for whatever it's worth. I'll do my best to make it enjoyable, but hello, Annie Manule, Mickey G, Rachel Gets It Right, Deb Varner, Casey Jones Astrology, Grateful Owl, Kat Doherty, Rick Waggerson, and I'm scrolling here. Lots been going on. John Stevenson, good to see you, John. And everybody else, of course. Sarah in Disguise is here. Annie Manule, good to see you. Who else? Chad Vota, good to see you, Chad. I don't see you in here much, but for the live shows anyway. He's always watching the replays, but good to see you for the live show, brother. Let's see. Scrolling. I'm scrolling. Sinfully Wicked's in here. Good to see you. And Marstall is here. Great to see you as well. And Grontardo is here. I'm just scrolling up the list. I'm so bad at this. I should just bring up the participants list, and that'll give me the most accurate. But I like kind of scrolling through this and just saying hi to everybody. It gives me some kind of meaning right at the lead into the show. And I know that's Larry and Shirley Bell is here, of course, as well. They said hello earlier. And I think they were the first ones in the door, as a matter of fact. So I think that's everybody that I've seen so far. Let me scroll back down on the bottom of the list and see if I've missed anybody. Devin is here. Good to see you, Devin. And I think that's all the recent people coming in the chat. We're up to 30 people right out of the gate here tonight. That's pretty good. Wonderful. Wonderful to see you. There's 30 people watching. I don't think I said 30 names, so some of you are just kicking back watching, and that's fine. You don't have to chat, but if you choose to, you are more than welcome to, and as well as to, become a member of our Discord server. So I had promised you guys that by Wednesday we would have a new name for our little voodoo doll here that was sent in. And by God, tonight's the night. So on our Discord server, we set up an option for anybody to come up with the names for this guy, whatever you choose. And Sinfully Wicked sent it to us, so that was very sweet. Handcrafted. Got a little needle right in the heart. I think Minion moved the needle to like straight in the middle of the heart. But anyway, it's a little voodoo doll. And we've had that open now on Discord for about a week, And I told everybody, come up with names, and whoever gets the most likes on their name will win a t-shirt, and we'll have named our new little portal mascot here. I've got a couple of them. I got a little Bigfoot back here too. We should probably name that one next. That was already sent in before for quite a while. Just been back up above there. You can't see him on camera, but he's up there, and we'll find a home for this little guy too. And he's happy to be here. Just adorable little fella. So we'll get to that in a little bit, figure out who has come up with the winning name, and they will have won also a t-shirt, a Paranormal Portal t-shirt, official Paranormal Portal gear. So we'll get to that soon, but there is more. Awesome. Sorry, I got to respond to this. I am getting I've got some car things going on. So my mechanic is messaging me now. He doesn't have like an official shop, but the guy's a whiz, and he goes out of his way to make time for me, and so he's messaging me. And so I've just got to message him back. Let me just say something here quick. Sounds good. Okay. He said, how soon do you want your car fixed? As soon as possible. As soon as possible. Sorry about this, but I do have to do this because, nothing's broken. The car's working, but it's just, there's things on there that need fixing, and I'll feel better if they are fixed. Soon as you can. I better put a smiley face after that so I don't sound like I'm being pushy. There you go. A little inside baseball on what's going on in my world. I brought it over to him earlier, and he looked at my car and said, yeah, we'd probably need a new wheel bearing. And then I know I haven't never put tires on the thing, so I got to get tires. So got to take care of the business. But anyway, same car you had problems with in Vernal? Yes, it is. But the only problem that was happening in Vernal was it was a fuel pressure regulator that was flooding every cylinder. Like it wasn't, giving it to it at the right dose. So it was just not starting. So that was changed, and that was a pretty cheap fix really. But I know I needed tires especially after going to Vernal and the other conferences. I have never put new tires on this car since I've owned it about 4 years ago, and they weren't new then. So you can imagine they're still holding up okay, but I just would feel better heading into the winter, having more tread because snow. What can I say? Because snow. So I'm just, oh, awesome. Very cool. I'm going to give him a heart. He says, okay, will do. So, he's getting a new wheel bearing and new wheels. So, or new tires anyway. So I'll have more tread. Anyway, we are going to get to the news here shortly, and we'll get to the naming of the voodoo doll after that. And then we'll get to some ghost stories, and then we'll get to the cryptid corner and whatever the hell else we choose to, because this show is absolutely unscripted and unrehearsed. So you'll get it as it comes out of my noise hole. Whatever we do, we'll do. If those of you in the chat would like to participate with me and ask questions or want me to see a comment, please capitalize it if you would. Hey, Isaac, good to see you, brother. Thank you for coming in. And who else? Anybody else just come in? Chad Vota in Kentucky. Grateful Owl. But anyway, yeah. Let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen, and get this ball rolling. Enough about me and my car and all that stuff. This is not the auto portal. Of course, that could be a spin-off podcast, I suppose. The automobile portal. Did I say portal? Jesus God. Portal. Automobile Portal. No, that's not the name of the show. Anyway, before I sound even stupider than I already do, let's get to the news and see if I can save myself. Hi, Mickey G. Good to see you. I see you now. All right, let's get to the news. Hey, Wes, make Brent's car great again. I should get a red hat with a MacG on it. All right, here we go. Good to see you, Wes. Thanks for stopping in. Hey, Brent, here's a sample of chat comments for you to see. Yeah, I see it. It worked. You got to have the big letters. It helps it really pop out to me because I'm old and distracted. So that's the best I can do. Speaking of Mr. Germer, he put together this transition you're about to see now. It's time for the news. Hi, Bill. Good to see you. You did a good job. What do you mean? This ain't bad. This is awesome. I love the elevator music. Brings back that whole 70s vibe. And being someone that was actually alive during the 70s, I appreciate that. Brings back memories of bad kung fu movies and stuff. But, that was my childhood. So you got to love that. All right, welcome to the news desk, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Paranormal Portal. Local Squatch came in. How you doing, Local Squatch? Used to do one of those Department of the Interior episodes about the cover-up of Bigfoot. Let's get to the bottom of something. Ooh, well, Gen X was the last sane generation. Amen. All right, so let's get to it, folks. We are going to get to the news here. I've pulled up several articles for your enjoyment, and hopefully you're learning and expanding what you might already know. Throughout the course of the show, yeah, well, kind of. Well, we're insane, but there's sane in there. We use a lot of articles throughout the course of the show, and I just ask that you guys please support these sites. Please visit them, give them your love and attention, and if you like the paranormal, which I assume you do, you're going to love these sites. Every one of these sites has so much to offer, so please give them your time and attention, and give them your traffic, because traffic equals revenue, and by God, it helps these people that put up these sites pay for it. So, all right, I guess here we go. This is it, the first news story for the night. This one is a Bigfoot story right away. You got to love this. This is apparently coming out of Illinois, and has to do with a trucker seeing a Bigfoot, believe it or not. And it's a brand new story. Well, newer. It's from October 20th, so that's pretty darn new. Just a few days old, and it comes from an amazing site called unexplained-mysteries.com. And here's the story. Want to hear it? Here it go. Illinois truck driver reports close encounter with Bigfoot. I had not heard about this, so this is pretty cool. The sighting occurred while the driver was cruising along a remote country roads in rural Peoria County. It had started out like any other day when Gary Rutherford Jr., a 42-year-old truck driver who had been transporting USPS mail along Route 9 between Glassford and Canton, Illinois, encountered something he would never forget. It was 6 a.m. on October 5th, and everything had been going smoothly until around 3/4 of a mile along the route, his low beams illuminated something strange at the side of the road. I didn't process this thing until I was right up on it. I did a double take, he recalled. It was standing, 2 legs, brown fur. I drove past it in about 5 seconds, and in that moment, it locked eyes with me. Orange, yellowish, glowing eyes. And I realized it was eye to eye, even though I was sitting high up in the truck, the 24-foot truck. So I estimate this thing had to be 8 feet tall. I was just stunned, trying to figure out what I just saw. The encounter would go on to bother him greatly and he quickly developed a keen interest in researching and reading about the Bigfoot phenomena. I replay it over and over every day in my mind, he said. That thing was just so huge. It was walking along the side of the road like it was getting ready to cross. And it was just me and him out there, and it was as surprised as I was. That's it. That's why I say, I mean, I really believe the next Patterson-Gimlin film will be from a dash cam. It's just so many stories like this. So there you have it, a Bigfoot story to launch the night. I mean, that's already a good start, right? I hadn't heard about that. I don't know when it happened, though. It doesn't say when he saw this. It says October 5th. Is this the one that just happened? Or are we talking like in the 80s? I guess right this last one. Otherwise, it would have said the year, right? Huh. Well, there you go. I guess it's a pretty new Bigfoot sighting, and that's near Peoria, Illinois. So that's pretty cool. Again, roadside crossings. And how the hell didn't it hear a truck coming? You know that stuff has got to be intentional. They just have to be aware that they're being seen. These are pretty intelligent things and pretty good at doing what they do. So I just think they love getting a rise out of people sometimes. All right, that's a hold my beer moment for the Bigfoot. So the other 5 were in the bushes just laughing. So anyway, let's get to the next one, because that was the first one. I think we're off to a good start. The next story on our news tonight also comes from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this here is a UFO phenomena report. So let's see what's going on with the UFOs tonight as far as current events is concerned. It's coming out of the Netherlands. The Netherlands or Netherlands. Not sure how you should pronounce it. Don't let this dumb trucker, I grew up in a middle-class family, fool you. Tony is an elite. Yeah, well, you know. He paid some dues. Maybe on a library book or something. Sorry, that was funny. I thought that was funny in my head anyway. All right, here we go. This one's coming out of the Netherlands, and this is UFO phenomena. The Netherlands is now encouraging pilots to report UFO encounters. What they don't tell you is that after you give the report, they have you pee in a cup. No, I'm just kidding. That probably isn't part of their protocol, but it is interesting. The Dutch Safety Board has signaled that it will be accepting reports of UAPs by aviation professionals. Given the increasing amount of attention, not altercation, the UFO phenomena has been receiving in the U.S. in recent years, it is perhaps no surprise that authorities in countries outside the U.S. Would also begin to take the topic more seriously as well, especially with regard to any risks that such objects might pose to aircraft within their airspace. Earlier this month, for example, the Dutch Safety Board made a move to suggest it would now be accepting reports of unidentified aerial phenomena by aviation professionals. The board, which runs independently of the Dutch government, is responsible for investigating any serious accidents that occur in the Netherlands, whether that be on the ground or in the air. As such, reports of encounters with unknown aerial vehicles is of legitimate concern. The news that the board would be taking the subject more seriously came following the correspondence with UFO group UAP Coalition Netherlands. As a coalition, we're pleased to report that the OVV, Dutch Safety Board, has indicated that it wants to receive reports of UAP from Dutch aviation professionals, the coalition wrote. Airspace can be endangered by experiences with UAP, so it is positive that an independent administrative body wants to gain more insight into this and takes reports seriously. We see this as recognition that an important step towards achieving our goal. I don't know, I get nervous anytime any kind of governmental or official entity wants more reports about UFOs, because it makes you think, well, are they going to start targeting them? Oh, they're in our airspace. Let's fire, And I don't know how that'll work. I mean, obviously, I don't know that it'll work at all. But there are claims that some of these are being forced down. Some of these UAPs are being forced into the ground by directed energy weapons or something of the like. So I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know why, but I guess we've been conditioned to kind of not trust this kind of stuff too much. And maybe that comes from my love of the X-Files when that was airing. I never trusted those bastards. After Fox Mulder and Scully were being sidelined, I was like, nope, they're bastards. No, I'm just kidding. But it'd be nice if they took it real seriously, but you always got to wonder why. Why now? Why now are they suddenly interested? And that's what I do question, legitimately. They had all kinds of reports prior to this, and they always scoffed at people and dismissed them, at least officially. And now they're all receptive and willing to listen. Why? I don't know. I'm not so sure. But anyway, that's the second story tonight. You can sort out why yourself, I guess, but interesting stuff. All right, let's go to the next one. And this is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. I don't know about this one. I think this is something kind of hoaxy here. I don't even know. I don't know. You'll see it in just a second. This is kind of a strange, it's a creatures, myths, and legends report, but I don't know. It's kind of like that weird dogman thing they had outside of a fence at zoo, but it's not the same thing. But I'm just saying, it kind of falls into that vein for me. It's like, which I think was a publicity stunt. And maybe this is too. But anyway, this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. A zoo asks for help identifying mystery creature with wings and horns. There it is. There's a picture on your screen of what they're asking for help for. unicorn Pegasus, maybe? I don't know. What do you do with this? All right, here it is. The Bristol Zoo recently captured a trail camera image of a strange creature with some unusual features. When an animal's so strange that even a zoo has trouble figuring out what it is, you know you're onto something unusual, unless that is, it has been posted up as a tongue-in-cheek tribute to the Halloween season. There you go. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it was a publicity stunt. Which of these two possibilities is most likely? We'll leave it up to you. The photograph, which was posted up yesterday as on the Facebook page of the Bristol Zoo Project, shows a peculiar mammal that seems to have horns on its head and a set of wings on its back. Well, thank you for just pooping in the face of everybody that believes there's strange stuff out there. The photograph, which was posted yesterday. Yep, I read that paragraph already. Have you seen the recent news about the mysterious winged and horned creature being spotted at the Bristol Zoo Project? The team wrote, our conservation team has used camera traps to survey the ancient woodland on our site. Here you can see a familiar muntjac deer alongside a creature that just has us a little stumped. So what exactly could this animal be? In all likelihood, the wings are actually a photographic anomaly, meaning that the mystery creature is also likely to be a muntjac deer. I don't know that that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm pronouncing it for any purist out there. A common species found in the region. Nonetheless, the image has certainly gained or generated a lot of attention over the last few days. And there's a normal one, and there's the other one. I don't know. I just think it's a publicity thing. It's got to be. Try to generate interest and get people to come out there. I think this stuff is kind of exploitive. I just don't believe it's a genuine request. Because, my God, if they really photograph something anomalous, I don't think they'd be surfing social media for the answers. You know, I mean, that doesn't make sense. They would be consulting universities and biologists and everyone in the official realms they could. They wouldn't be going on Facebook going, hey, what do you think this is, guys? We don't know. So, just a big wah, wah, wah from me. That's all I got. But anyway, it's a cute picture, but it's clearly been doctored. So there you have it, folks. That's another piece of news that you might not have known of, but you know now. The little Pegasus unicorn thing, deer. Anyway, I don't know. It's just weird. All right, let's go to the last story of the night on our news festival of fun here in the portal. And this one is the last one. I don't know if this is even interesting or not. It's kind of an astronomical event. There's been a lot of astronomical events lately, a lot of meteor showers and stuff, and comets and all that stuff that are going around. And I don't know, there's one that either recently went by that won't be visible for another 80,000 years or something stupid like that. That just, I guess, was visible or is still. Maybe this is it. But let's check it out. This is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. Last story of the night. Halloween comet visitor originates from the mysterious Oort cloud. Well, there you go. Where are you from? I'm from the Oort cloud. Sounds like a club. The comet comes from an enigmatic and colossal cloud of planetesimals. What the hell's a planetesimals? That surround our solar system. I don't even know what that means. The planetesimals. Is that like dinky planets or something? It sounds small, whatever it is. God, this is going to be big, isn't it? Yeah, well, it's big. If you guys want to read more about this, I'm going to put the link in the chat. And you can certainly read more. I'm not interested in reading that whole thing talking about a comet coming from the Oort cloud. They got to come from somewhere, the Oort cloud or wherever. I don't know. But at any rate, here's the article link. If you want to check it out, it is now posted in both the chats. And you can have a look if it's important to you. It's important, I'm sure, but it's just not really important to me. I've seen lots of comets and stuff. I saw the Hale Bopp when that passed by years and years ago. And when that cult decided to just go nuclear on it and decided to send their souls to the comet to ride into eternity. So good luck to all of them. But I think comets are cool. It's neat, whatever. But I've seen Halley's Comet. I've seen that Hale-Bopp. I don't know. It's kind of, it's one of those things like when you see a movie, it's like, yeah, you can see it again. Some movies are definitely worth seeing again, but usually you say, oh, I saw that already. Show me something new. Show me a UFO again. I'd like to see another one of those. That'd be cool. But this has been the news, folks. Hope you learned something. Hope you found some value in it. And we'll get back to the rest of the show. Let's do it. We'll be grilling Pegasus unicorns. All right, folks, it is time for the rest of the show. I suppose I should get to a screen where you can see me. There I am, in case you forgot what I look like. Y'all keep your grills away from the bono. Oh, no, who wouldn't eat the bono? That's not on the menu currently. Brown chicken, brown cow. There you go. Forbidden steak. What's forbidden steak, Chucky? I don't know what that means. Sarah in Disguise says, according to my friend Google Planetesimals, small solid objects made of rock and ice that are thought to be building blocks of planets. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Sarah. I learned something new today too then. Well, I learned a bunch new today, but that is, yeah, roast D-hole. That's got to be on the menu. Should be. I mean, D-holes look good. That didn't sound right at all, did it? I bet you they taste good. That didn't sound any better, did it? I'll just shut up now. About D-holes. All right, we're going to go to our Discord, not for the question of the week, but we got to figure out what the name of our new little voodoo doll is here. So I got to scroll up here and have a look. And this is the post Rachel made regarding this lovely little guy. And this is our Discord server right here on your screen. Rachel posted this image. And so we have a vote of Felicia, which received 3 likes. Very cool. Good name, Felicia. I think it's a boy, though. He's got a blue bow tie, but it's still a cool name. Mr. Puns from Sarah in Disguise got 2 likes. Cool. John T said Spike. I kind of thought that was funny because it's a voodoo doll. But he got 1 like on that. Still clever. I like that. And then I even got 2 likes. Gotta love that. I'll hug him and squeeze him and call him George. Got 3 likes from Owl13. Lucius got 3 likes. We got a lot. Or Alistair, which got none, I guess. Bart, Sarah in Disguise, came up with, got 1 like. I'm going with Henry. I like Henry, SoCal Squatcher says. And Henry's a good name. Henry the Voodoo Doll. But here we go. Grizzly Stitch from Rachel got 5 likes. Ooh, we might have a winner. Barbara Morris says knit 1 pearl 2. 2 likes. And I thought that too, the first. That's my favorite name of mine if I ever had another boy. Okay, 2. All right. Here we go to Maggie 2-Pin Shakur. I didn't choose the pin life. The pin life chose me. That got 5 likes as well. Ooh, we have a tie. We need someone to go in there and be a tiebreaker. Pricky Fathom 13 says, that's a cute name. Monsieur Danny Laveau from Neil S. Or Monsieur, I don't know how you say that for sure. I'm not French. A little long, but it combines Monsieur Danny Blanc, voodoo god, and Marie Laveau, the most famous voodoo priestess, perhaps a bit much for a doll. We're being visited. But I have a tendency to be overly florid. That got 1 vote. I like it. That's very thoughtful. Penny Hendricks. That's an awesome name, Maggie. That was cool. Chucky, this gives me puns and needles. Portal Pete. Portal Pete is cool. That would have been good. But 3 likes. John T came in back again with Goober. Owl 13, Prickles. Zomboy with 1. Gizmo with 1. And Fred, which I don't know if anybody got one in there. Let's see. Devin is typing something. It said, so I got a tie here, folks. We got a 5 for 2-pin Shakur. God. Yeah, I mean, that's cute. And then we got 5 for, what was the other one? Where the hell am I missing it? For Grizzly Stitch or 2-pin Shakur. So right at the wire here, folks. Is it Grizzly Stitch or 2-pin Shakur? So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Since we got a tie. All right. So number 1 in the chat for Grizzly Stitch. Type number 1 in the chat for Grizzly Stitch or number 2 in chat for 2-pin Shakur. Which do you choose? All right. 1 in the chat for Grizzly Stitch and 1 or 2 in the chat for 2-pin Shakur. I need you guys to vote right now in the chats. 2-pin Shakur, got 2 for 2-pin, 1, 2 for Grizzly Stitch, still a tie. 1 for Grizzly Stitch, 2. Oh my God, who's going to tabulate these? Somebody tabulate these. It's already going too fast for me. All right, Rachel, will you tabulate these for me? I'd appreciate it. Barbara Morrow over in Rumble says 1 for Grizzly Stitch, and Justin Gooder says 1 in Rumble for Grizzly Stitch as well. There was no 6, local squatch. Yeah, I can't vote for a choice that's not available. All right. If somebody would tabulate those, is that seriously a tie? Guys. 5 Grizz. All right. It's 1 for Grizzly Stitch or 2 for 2-pin Shakur. All right. 1 or 2. Those are your choices right now. Come on, Chucky. You're not helping. You're not helping at all. 1 or 2. I was thinking poo-poos. I don't know what that means. For the name, poo-poos. Okay, Lane comes in with 1. Now we got a 2. 2-pin. Will somebody figure out who won, please? I'm tabulating. Chucky's tabulating. Okay, I'm sure Rachel is as well. Please, you guys, figure this out. The voting is closed on Rumble. We're doing it in a live chat draw here. So, Chucky did. All right. Oh, that's what you're doing, 5 and 6? Okay. I thought you were doing choice. So we got 5 for Grizz and 6 for 2-pin. Did you count the Justin Gooders? 1 and 1 from choice 1 and 1 from Rumble as well? If you didn't choose those or count those, Chucky, let me know. And then Elaine came in with a 1 as well. So give me the new totals. Sorry, new messages. All right, I'll have to add you in my Rumble, Brent. Yeah, for sure, Mickey. Yeah, absolutely. Just give me a friend request. 1-1 by 1. Let's just say Chucky Danger, being the VP, breaks the tie vote. Well, that would have been good too, but I thought we'd give it to the live chat to weigh in, so it becomes a community event. All right, so it's local Squatch says 1-1 by 1. Is that just a play on words, or are you being serious? All right, I didn't see the Rumble ones. Yeah, there's 2 votes in Rumble, both for Grizzly Stitch. So how did we end up, Chucky? 5 for 2-pin, 7 for Grizz, I think. Okay. All right. Numbers scare me. I know, me too. There's too many of them. I just can't do it anymore. I just get lost. So, all right. We're going to go with the winning name of Grizzly Stitch, or Grizzly Stitch. As you see, where the hell is it? But thank you, everybody that weighed in on it. It's Grizzly, and then Stitch is Stych. That's brilliant. That's the count in the chat. Okay. Gotcha. Chucky Danger, Rumble both voted 1. Yes, they did. Grizzly Stitch wins. All right. Congratulations, Rachel. You just won yourself a Paranormal Portal shirt. So message me with your size and delivery details, and I will send you a shirt. I am processing the orders from all the giveaways that we've done, and we got to do some for Halloween too, so be ready. Those of you on Rumble, if you're not on Rumble, get on Rumble, become part of our Rumble community, or become a channel member here on on our YouTube channel. We have channel memberships, and both of those will qualify for t-shirt drawings. And so if you're a member of the Rumble and you're a channel member, you got 2 chances to win a shirt. And I don't know how many I'll give away this month. Last month I gave away 3 on YouTube and 2 on Rumble, I think was what it was. So, or 1 on Rumble. I don't remember. Anyway, I gave away a bunch of shirts. I'm just having to fill the orders now. I got 1 sent out so far, so I'm getting caught up. Anyway, that's it. Thank you everybody for participating and being a part of naming Mr. Grizzly Stitch here. Dun-dun-dun. He's going to be on the display behind me somewhere. Now we got a name for him. That's cute. Grizzly Stitch. Thank you, Rachel. Thanks everybody that participated. That was fun. I like things like that. I like community, involvement, participation, as it were. No likes for Henry. Come on. They're all great names. They're all fun. I like several of them. Thank you guys. You guys did great. You guys want to know something freaky? I found a monkey's paw in my friend's grandmother's basement. Huh? A monkey's paw? You mean a monkey's hand? Or what? Monkeys have hands, right? So is it like a fist? Is that what you mean? Like a monkey's fist? Because paws are, on more other mammals, but primates have hands. Even on their feet, they have hands. So yeah, that's creepy though. That is creepy. I don't know what that means necessarily. It's probably something voodoo-y or hoodoo or voodoo or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, okay, that was the Discord. I appreciate you guys' involvement and your participation, and congratulations again, Rachel. And I'm not pandering for more votes. Don't pandering. All right, that brings us to some ghost stories, ladies and gentlemen, which we're going to do because we're leading up to Halloween. And by God, we haven't done a lot of ghost stuff on this show for quite a while, actually. I used to do a ton of ghost stories. There's whole series of things like night terrors episodes that I used to do. I used to do episodes on YouTube every night of the week. 7 days a week, I would do an episode. Some were 2 hours, some were 1 hour, but I did these 1 hour segments called Night Terrors. And those were all ghost stories, usually. Every once in a while, I do something else, but usually they were ghost stories. And we haven't done a lot of those lately. Granted, I burned through a lot of ghost stories back in those days, but yeah, we got to do some more. Congrats, Rachel, on winning. I'm disagree with your officiation with the Paranormal Portal isn't a conflict of interest. I'll see you guys in court for corruption charges. Yeah, well, you can litigate the hell out of us, but we got nothing to take. Unfortunately, we don't have that Germer money. Anyway, yeah, I'm as corrupt as blue cheese. That is kind of corrupted though, isn't it? All right, let's continue on. We're going to get to the ghost stories now. Let me close stuff here. Congrats, Rachel. Let me put that on here. Little Blue. Oh, Devin wrote in Little Blue. That would have been cute too. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Congrats, Rachel. Congrats, Rachel. All right, there you go. There's our winner there. All right. Gave away a shirt. Had a little fun doing it. Something different for the show. I do got a little Bigfoot here that was crafted by another listener that will come up with another naming ring round for, so we can name the little Bigfoot. I don't know if I can find. Hold on. It might be right around the corner here. Where is it? He's here somewhere. Or she. No, it's not there. I'll have to find it. It's here somewhere. I've been reorganizing everything. As you can tell, I keep updating the display behind me, so I've been moving stuff around. But it's here. And we'll do that one next. Okay. They sell those in Bali heads too. Oh, really? You know what else they sell in Bali? They sell, darn They sell these in Bali. And I've got 3 of them now. I got one up there above that you can't see. It's out of camera view. But these are masks, wooden masks, hand carved. They're supposed to ward away evil spirits. So I got another one almost identical to this one. And then I got a black colored one over there on the wall. That's off camera. One up here. And then this one that I still have yet to hang. But these are supposed to ward away evil spirits. So kind of creepy looking things, aren't they? But they're allegedly, good to have around if you're into masks. This one is from Ruthie. Ruthie sent us this one that I'm pointing at, and that is from Java Island in Indonesia as well. So I got a bunch of masks. Deb, you going to bed? Hey, Chad. Thank you. Good night, Deb. It's wonderful to see ya. So yeah, that was cool. All right, let's get to the ghost stories here on the Paranormal Portal, and then we'll get to the cryptid corner. God, it's already 7:46. How does it go this fast? So we've been going through an article with ghost stories from today.com. And this is the website for the Today Show. But they posted this. I'll give accreditation to the author in just a sec. Almost 11 p.m. here. Well, it's nearly 8 here. Damn time zones. Okay, so this article is from today.com, and I'll bring it up right now. This is 17 real ghost stories that'll chill you to the bone. These tales of spirit encounters and paranormal activity just might make a believer out of you. It's possible. And this is written by Sarah Lemire from August 18th, 2022. And it was updated October 16th, 2024. So it was just updated too. Way to go, Sarah. She's keeping it updated. That's awesome. So I guess it just keeps growing every year. But we're down here on this ambulance story. Ambulance. Whoa, Black Betty. Ambulance. Sorry. I think I went too far. Where the hell's the ambulance? Maybe I didn't go far enough. Where the hell am I? There it is. All right, here we are. The Phantom Ambulance Lights. Here it is. Tiki's in my bedroom. Oh, that's right, Chucky. You showed me pictures. Those are funny. I mean, cute. Wonderful. All right, here we go. The Phantom Ambulance Lights. In the mid-1990s, Robert worked as a paramedic in a small Texas town and tells the story of a strange happening that he and his partner experienced on a call one night. After receiving a call for a female having chest pains, he and his partner climbed into the ambulance, to make their way to the address. We took off code 3, which means using our emergency lights and sirens, Robert recalls. In the absence of GPS back then, Robert says they relied on maps and mailbox numbers to guide them to their rural location. I almost said location. Wow. The address we were going to was a very rural one, says Robert. So there was no street lights and it was very dark night. So it's very difficult to read the mailboxes. As they searched for the correct driveway, Robert says he turned off the sirens after determining they'd found it. They pulled in only to discover they were mistaken. So we turned off the emergency lights as we backed up the road and went up the correct driveway, he explains. Upon arriving at the scene, the paramedics realized that they'd been at the exact same address the month prior for a male suffering from cardiac arrest. In typical medical black humor fashion, we mentioned it to each other that this was probably the wife who was now having a heart attack and was going to join her husband. Well, they jumped from the ambulance, bags in tow, and began treating the woman, who fortunately ended up being all right. And Robert said he sent his partner to get the stretcher from the ambulance so they could take her to the hospital for evaluation. When he returned, he had this strange questioning look on his face. According to Robert, the pair wheeled the patient out to the emergency vehicle, and that's when Robert saw that the ambulance had nearly every light it was equipped with turned on. Strobe lights, floodlights, some interior lights, everything was on. After taking the patient to the hospital, Robert asked his partner why he turned on all the lights. He hadn't. In fact, he reminded Robert that they'd shut them all off after going to the wrong address. Neither of us recall activating the emergency lights, strobes, or floodlights when we arrived at the house. There was no real reason to do so. We'd already gotten there. In the end, we just wrote it off as her dead husband, letting her know that he was still there. Could be. Why not? He's like, we got you, honey. We got you. But there you go. Could it be hubby sticking around and making sure she knew he was there? Next one is called Ghost Dog. Why not? I have heard several people talk to me about spirits of their deceased animals being present still. Even my mom. I've shared the story many, many times, so I won't bore you guys with another repeat of the same story, but I do believe that it's very possible that our pets that we've loved stick around, and they sometimes let us know. When I did the Spirit of Compassion podcast recently with the dachshund rescue lady, she told me about some experiences she had when this dachshund that they rescued and adopted had passed away, and how they heard the shaking and the tags off into the bedroom where this dog always hung out. And it's like, yeah, I believe it. I believe it. They let us know. So let's see what's going on with the ghost dog. Sarah from Lancaster, Ohio tells Monsters Among Us the story of her childhood dog, Cricket, who, according to Sarah, was a pretty unhappy dog. Oh, that's a bummer. I thought dogs were always happy, but maybe not. At least the ones I've had have always been pretty good souls. But she was super cranky, and she only liked my grandma, Sarah says. She didn't even seem like she felt well. Still, the family loved their dog and was devastated when the pup ran out into the road and was struck and killed by a passing car as they were preparing to leave on a family vacation. It was very sad, very upsetting, especially with me being a child. My grandmother was there, and she loved Cricket, and Cricket loved her. They had this special relationship that none of us had. Despite the loss, the family had prepaid for their vacation, and not having a lot of money, decided to still go, leaving Cricket's body with an aunt who offered to take the necessary details. To take care of, I guess it says take of the necessary details, but I think they meant take care of. And upon arriving at the hotel where they were staying, Sarah says the family was upset over the tragedy. We go to bed, and in the middle of the night, I'm not sure why, I woke up, but I woke up, sat up in bed, and looked down. On the floor was Cricket. Full body apparition of her, says Sarah. She looked so happy. She looked like a different dog. She was jumping all around. All that crankiness and all that unhappiness was gone. And it was like she was coming to tell me that she was okay. It was the clearest apparition I've ever, and I've never seen an apparition again. It was the first and only time. Sarah says she told her mother in the morning what she'd seen, and her mom dismissed it as her middle school brain just trying to make sense of the loss. Well, I guess that's possible, says Sarah, but to this day, I can still envision Cricket in that moment, and I've never forgotten that image. And it helped me feel better about what had happened because she seemed so happy, and I do think she was visiting me that night. Yeah, pretty cool. Again, why not? Why not? What do you guys think? Do animals visit us after they've passed? Do they let themselves be known or make themselves known to some people? Or do you think it's just fabrications of grieving minds? I'm curious. I really am. I'm curious what you guys think. Yes, they do, Sinfully Wicked says. Yeah, I believe they do too. Honestly, I do. All right, here we go. The Ghosts of Willoughby Cole. Willoughby Cole. My cat certainly came to visit, Chucky says. I believe they do, Brent. Very good, Mickey. Yeah, I think so too. I tend to have most of my meetings with deceased loved ones, including my German Shepherd, Xena, in my dreams. I don't know why, but that seems to be where that stuff comes to me. And it's easy to dismiss. Anybody that's a skeptic would say, look, this is just your unconscious mind coping with the loss of something you love. And so you fabricated this dream. But I'm here to tell you, every time it's happened, it's been more real than me sitting here doing the show. I mean, it's been so super real and super potent and powerful. And I know I'm not awake. I know that I'm in a dream when it's happening. It's like complete lucidity, but, they are incredible experiences. Yep. There you go. Same with my pit bull, RJ Windwalker says. Yeah, I believe it. I believe they all come and see us. And maybe they're always there. Maybe it's true that they just wait by our sides until it's our turn to go, and then we all go together. I like that idea. I think that's cool that they might still be there right next to us. Just a whisper away, but we don't really know it. But they just probably hold vigil over us, just like they did in life. I just don't think there's a more perfect love on this planet than the love of a dog. And I know cats are very loving and other pets are very loving too, don't get me wrong. But there's something so special about the love of a dog. And it's completely selfless. Like a cat will get pissed at you and won't talk to you for a week if it gets uptight about something. I've got 2 cats, and let me tell you, sometimes they give me the cold shoulder when they're not feeling it, but my dogs are always right there. They're just happy as hell. I can go out and get something from my car and come back, and my dog's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're back. It's like, that's amazing. That's an amazing love, So it makes you feel really good inside. She gets the zoomies then too, and has the zoomies all over. Like she's having a little personal party. Oh, you're back. I was like, I just went to the car. It's out in the driveway. But it's so funny. It's so sweet. All right. Yes, the idea of heaven wouldn't be the same without all the animals I've lost being there. Yeah, I'm with you, Sarah. I'm with you. They become such a big part of our heart. They are our little fur babies. The Ghosts of Willoughby Cole is next. This is built in the late 1800s. The Willoughby Cole building in Willoughby, Ohio, housed a variety of businesses in its time, including a train depot, cheese factory, and flour mill. Wow, that is a lot of faces for a building. In 1912, it became very prosperous Willoughby Cole, supplying coal to local residents before it was sold to Henry Windus and William Don Norris in the 1930s. Over time, the relationship between the two owners grew contentious, according to Teresa Argy. Henry Windus wanted to buy the business from Don Norris, but Don was unwilling to sell. The paranormal investigator tells Today.com. One morning, Norris allegedly told his wife he was going out for bread and to check on repairs being done to the Willoughby building. He never returned. Ooh, nefarious. Several hours later, his body was discovered in front of the door. He was laying in a bloody heap, RG says. Even though his death was ultimately ruled accidental, RG says that Norris's family believed he'd been murdered. Though no one knows what really happened that morning, RG believes his spirit still haunts the building. We've come in contact with him on many occasions, she says, and claims that others have reported seeing faces in the window and heard unexplained footsteps and other unusual occurrences at the building. But Norris wasn't alone. We probably got 5 or 6 resident spirits in the building. Yeah, if there's one, there's probably a couple more. I mean, there could be just one, but usually there's there's a few, especially in a building that old. All right, the next one is called Ghost Nanny. This one sounds really, really interesting. I kind of like these ideas of caretaker spirits that show up and help sick people. There's a lot of those stories out there. It's a beautiful thought, All right, here we go. This is Kip, a caller from New York State, talks of an old home that he and his wife purchased. Well, upon moving in, his wife invited her sister and newborn baby to come for a visit. Well, they stayed in the downstairs bedroom, and my wife was sleeping in the upstairs bedroom, Kip explains, on Monsters Among Us. And he says the first night their guests stayed, the wife overheard her sister talking to someone in the middle of the night. The next morning, Kip's wife asked who she'd been talking to, and her sister replied, "I woke up in the middle of the night, and there was an old lady standing over my baby, and I had to tell her to get away." According to Kip, there was more unexplained incidents in the house, including mysteriously moving lamps and creepy occurrence with a fire alarm that went off while his wife was outside working in their garden. She immediately runs back into the house and figures out that it's the smoke alarm in the same downstairs bedroom going off. Kip says on the podcast when she opened the door, she said for a split second all she could see in the room was this white fog. Within moments, however, the white fog disappeared and the alarm shuts off. Convinced the house was haunted, Kip's wife reached out to a neighbor to learn more about the property and discovered that the previous owner was a 90-year-old woman who tragically died in a house fire. Ooh, how's that for symbolic? Needless to say, we fixed up the house and got out of there as fast as we could and moved somewhere else, says Kip. I've heard of those ghostly fogs or mists, and I've just heard mention of them through the years, but I've only talked to one person that has seen that themselves that I remember. And that person is my cousin, Paul, who's been on the show a few times. And he talked about this log. He talked about it in the Haunting in Michigan podcast episode. And he was having a horrendously potent level of haunting going on in this log cabin. It's a brand new house. No other house was there before that they know of, but I suspect there was something there a long time ago. But anyway, he was having some serious issues, and it really seemed to be targeting him specifically. I mean, in the house, it was just all to do with him. Nobody else, other people saw things in the house, but all of the activity seemed to be focused right on him. But he said one night he was woke up by these sounds. My cousin is a very light sleeper. Like he'll wake up in a heartbeat for pretty much anything. But he said he woke up suddenly with a start and he had a bad feeling. So he went out, and the way his house was situated was a beautiful log home with vaulted ceilings, really high ceilings. But in the bedroom area, there was a hallway, and it was kind of like the house with vaulted ceilings had a floor with an upstairs loft area, but underneath that was all the bedrooms. Well, his was on the far, as you're walking down that little hallway, his was on the far left. He says he woke up and the house was kind of dark, but he walked out, and as he got out into the living room and turned on the light, he said the whole thing was filled with this wall of white fog-like smoke, but it didn't smell. But it was just like he couldn't even see the other side of the living room. It was just this haze, this thick haze. And he went out there and saw this, and then his ex-wife came out, and when she came out, it was dissipating and only half the room was full. And then they both stood there and were like, what the hell's going on? And then as they were standing there in moments, all of it was gone. So it's a pretty incredible, kind of fascinating experience, but I don't know. Could it be symbolic of maybe another house having existed there and perhaps it burned down? Maybe that's a symbol for fire. I don't know. Talk to ghosts for a free fog machine effect. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It comes with a lot of other things though, Chucky, that you might not want. But if you're that in love with fogs, just get a fog machine. I think that's the way to go. All right, we're going to do the ghost truck stop next, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll read this one, and then we'll, I think I understand what this story is. I love these stories. These are very rare, but they come up. And they seem to be these phantom buildings that appear, and people can go there, and then they go and leave, and when they come back on that same route, there's either nothing there or there's the shambles of what was once there long ago, which does not resemble what they experienced before. So let's check it out. On his way to get married, a military man and his best man set off on an 800-mile road trip from Camp Lejeune in North Carolina to Lafayette, Indiana. It was 1 a.m. on a cold January night in 2014, and the man tells Monsters Among Us that the weather was bad and temperatures were in the negative double digits. Oof, that's brutal. As the pair closed in on Indianapolis, they discovered they had no money to pay for gas to refuel the car and were about to run out. Growing up on the trucking industry with my dad, I decided to stop at a truck stop, the man explained, but because the main interstates were shut down due to the weather, they had to get off the highway and search for a truck stop along the back roads instead. We found a smaller truck stop. It had one truck. It was just kind of strange. It was just a blacked out truck with a blacked out trailer and no real markings on it. Nothing distinguishable, he says. Well, they went in hoping a clerk or waitress would spot them a few dollars for gas, enough to make it to Indianapolis, at which time they'd go to the bank, take out cash, and pay back the loan. Well, inside they found a tidy diner occupied by a waitress, cook, and a lone truck driver. I went inside, talked to this driver, and he bought us a cup of coffee, and we sat there and talked for about 30 minutes about what was going on and where we were headed, and he gave us $20 for gas. I went outside, pumped our gas, and came back in and told him, hey, I really appreciate it. I'll be back. Making good on his word, the man got cash from the bank upon arriving in Indianapolis and returned to the diner. When we arrived at about 10 o'clock in the morning, it's boarded up, he says. It looked like it's been abandoned for years and the truck's gone. But we had just been in there. They pulled in anyway, found a police officer parked in the lot, and they explained what happened just hours before, to which the cop chuckled and replied, "Oh, you met the ghost of 3. So 2 military members converse, had a cup of coffee with, interacted with 3 people at a diner that had a fuel pump. I got $20 worth of gas, says the man. When I came back, it's been boarded up for, if I remember correctly, the cop said it had been boarded up for the last 25 years. Ooh. How's that? Pretty creepy or what, right? But cool. That's a cool story. I believe the veil is thinner when you're in a misty fog. That's pretty interesting, Wizard Moon, because the ancient druids believed that just that. And that was the perfect time to perform what was basically a portal spell. And the idea was to burn a candle and recite specific incantations and try to focus on a portal opening. Now, there was kind of a double-edged sword, because if you saw a portal opening, you could go in to this other realm, but you were never supposed to take anything, not touch anything, just observe. And the other part of it that was dangerous was the idea that if you didn't leave before the fog lifted, you'd be stuck there forever. So that was the belief in the ancient druidic religions. So you never messed around with that unless you were sure you're having a long fog. That is pretty interesting. The Fae bring a fog, probably. So Sarah in disguise told my medium I go for a guidance for my gifts, that the woman loved the grandkids coming here. She loved children. Oh, that's cool. That sounds lovely. So anyway, that's a cool story. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, that is I don't know if I would enter or not. I kind of would want to, and I kind of would feel like you almost should enter if something like that appears, just because I always want to see things. But at the same time, I might be like, nah, I'm good. So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth throwing the dice on something like that. And what if you get stuck? Then you're going to appear in a David Paulides show somewhere. David Paulides will probably publish a chapter or 2 about you. Could happen. Anyway, there you go. I'm just looking at the chat to see what a critter that gets caught in shoe treads, if you bring that back with you. I don't think it's quite that specific, Rachel, but I think it's more like you see objects or there's food items or anything like that, you have to leave them alone. But, I mean, wouldn't you just, what if you saw like a jeweled crown sitting there? You'd be like, well, wonder if they'll miss this. You know, this could pay some bills. I don't know. But if you take it, you might not get to go home. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but there's certainly the temptation would be huge to grab something, because wouldn't you want people to know you were there? Maybe you could just grab some pictures if your phone would work or whatever. I don't know. Interesting stuff, though. All right, I think we'll stop there. I don't know how many are left. Let's just see. There's actually only one left, so let's read this one. And this is The Ghost in the Choir Loft. Old churches, telling you. Alicia Diozzi, a teacher, tour guide, and owner of Salem Kids Tours, typically sticks to talking about Salem, Massachusetts' long and diverse history. However, there's one story she likes to share about a ghost that haunts the first church in Salem. The plot twist? Only children can see it. Well, that's not unusual, though. Kids see spirits all over the place. The little ones, maybe age 4 or 5, will ask about a ghostly presence that they see up in the chair loft in the main sanctuary of our church, she tells Today.com. According to Diozzi, kids often point to the same spot in the church and claim that they see a woman there. The kids will say she's in a long dress, long sleeves, and that she sometimes can be heard singing with the choir, Diozzi says. The tales of the choir ghost have been circulating since the 1960s, says Diozzi, and she might have dismissed them had her own son not pointed to the loft 15 years ago and asked about the lady who sings with the choir. Was she chilled? Yes, definitely, Diozzi said. I felt like the main sanctuary at First Church has that feeling. You do kind of feel the presence of the past. It's not a bad feeling, she says, but rather a history or energy. And it's comforting in a way. Well, there you go. Cool article. Many thanks to Sarah Lemire. That was a great article. There's more Halloween articles to check. So again, check out today.com for more of this kind of stuff. I didn't see any other ghostly articles from them, but still a great collection of stories, some really good takes, and interesting all the same. So there you go. That was 17 real ghost stories that'll chill you to the bone. Did you get chilled? Any of you feel chilled? I don't think I did. But anyway, I've been at this a while. It's pretty cool, though. Pretty cool. I'd be kicked out for hitting on the Fae Queen. Yeah, Titania, you might get in trouble with Oberon if you start flirting with the Queen. I'm just saying. I don't know if he's the jealous type or not, but I suspect he probably is. Apparently she's supposed to be the nicer of the two anyway. Oberon's supposed to be kind of hardcore, but Titania is supposed to be kind of sweet and loving. I don't know. I could be wrong. Too old for you, RJ? Yeah, probably. My wife got chilled to the bone, but it was from the AC like usual. Well, we haven't needed AC up here for a long time. In fact, it was cold today. I'm just not digging it. That's pretty crazy. The weather's changing whether I like it or not. I don't know if Wes is still here or not, but we're going to dive over in Sasquatch Chronicles now for some cryptids, folks. It's time to enter the cryptid corner. I hope you guys are ready. Well, we're doing 8:14. Perfect. Perfect timing. So, Wes, if you're here, we're going in your neck of the woods now. So, buckle up, everybody. It's time for the cryptid corner. Maybe I should have led with this. Maybe I should have led with this one. Let me see if I can find it. I haven't used it forever. Here it is. The Germer Files. Wes Germer. Sasquatch Chronicles. Should have led with that one. But anyway. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to visit SasquatchChronicles.com right now and dig into some stories here. So special thanks to Wes for letting us use this and talk about his listener emails he posts. I mean, we could have, I guess, read other things, but I like the listener emails the best. That to me is the most interesting. These are people that have seen something directly and not just people talking about stuff. I don't mind talking about stuff either. I love talking about it. That's my bread and butter, but I like to hear what people have seen. So we're going to dive in the first one, and this one's from October 17th. It's an encounter in Georgia from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. Please check it out. Visit Sasquatch Chronicles blog. You're going to find a whole host of things that you may not know Wes does every day, but he keeps this blog incredibly current and some great stories he posts on there and some great resources. So there's a lot to see. All right, a listener writes, I'm writing to let you know of some encounters I've had over the years. My first encounter took place in Gordon County, Sugar Valley, Georgia, near Johns Mountain on the early fall of 2013. When this encounter took place, it was myself, my ex-husband, my mother, and in-laws, and we were in what they call the upper field checking on the pumpkins that they had planted after my in-laws got done checking on everything. We were all standing around talking when all of a sudden a tree falls. Keep in mind, we hadn't had any rain in weeks and the ground was super dry and no wind was blowing. Well, I made the comment, it's weird the tree just falls, and jokingly I said, maybe it's Bigfoot. And my mother-in-law laughs it off and states, trees fall all the time. I remember my father-in-law as well having to put scarecrows up to get animals out of the crops. I remember several times him saying the watermelons and pumpkins being split open in halves, and it appeared something had purposely split them open and were eating the inside. And this property borders the WMA. I'm not sure what the WMA is, but I imagine it's a wildlife management area. That just came to me. I think that must be what it is. The second incident happened in a different area of the same property a few weeks after the tree fall. My ex-husband and I just pulled into our driveway when his cousin came running out of the house with a shotgun saying something tall and dark was trying to get the chickens. He'd fired his shotgun towards the chicken coop and the upright figure ran off. And I asked him, was it a bear? And he said, no, a bear doesn't run upright on 2 feet. I went to the house and came out a few minutes later to get something out of the car when I noticed a huge footprint. Well, I called my ex-husband and his cousin over to look at it. And his cousin said, that's no average footprint. Keep in mind, it had been raining and the footprint was very distinct and was only noticeable footprint as the rest of the area was grassy. We guesstimate the footprint was about 14 inches in length and about 8 inches in width. After noticing the footprint, we just brushed it off and went back into the house, and nothing else happened after that. It's always a bear, you're right, Elaine. The final incident happened in the winter of 2013 in a little community in Gordon County, Georgia called Nicholsville on Highway 136. Me and my niece had just left my parents' house, and it was right at dusk. My niece was driving and had turned onto Highway 136 off of Highway 225 heading back towards Risaka when a large upright hair-covered creature crossed the road in front of us. The creature crossed from left to the right and took 2 steps to completely cross the road. My niece freaked out and slammed on the brakes and stopped in the middle of the road and asked, what the hell is that? We were both shocked and terrified at what we had just seen. My niece was so upset that I had to drive home. We guesstimate it to be around 7 feet tall, and it scared my niece so bad that she didn't want to go on that road for a long time. Keep in mind, this is about 20 miles from Fort Mountain, and there's been numerous Sasquatch encounters. It sounds like there's a lot going on in Georgia there, in that region anyway. I mean, essentially there's a Sasquatch stuff going on everywhere. Hey, Dog Digger, good to see you. And hey, Yoholo, good to see you as well. That's scary. I'm eating chili. So Yoholo's gassy, I guess, because he's eating chili. Well, there you go. 2 steps to cross the road. That is a big stride. You're right. That's right. I love listening to Paranormal Portal podcast with Brent Thomas. Thank you, Jason. Such a sweet talker. I don't deserve you, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Well, there you go. That's the first ones from Sasquatch Chronicles tonight. Very interesting. Quite interesting indeed. All right. Let's get to the next one from Sasquatch Chronicles. I've never been to Savannah. I'd love to go to Savannah. It sounds pretty interesting. I think I read In the Garden of Good and Evil, that book, and it kind of made me fall in love with Savannah because it just sounds like a really cool, eclectic place. I don't know. I'd like to see it just because of all the history and stuff, too. It looks beautiful there. Seeing stuff at Walmart can be fun. Makes people look at you funny when we say to each other, "Did you see that?" At times, I'm ornery with it. Mickey G, what are you seeing at Walmart? I mean, you can see some pretty creepy stuff at Walmart. And some of it's some of the shoppers. I've seen some really creative stuff there. I mean, to each his own. People can do what they want, but sometimes it is like, oh my gosh. Sometimes it takes your breath away. Atlanta's a great city. I've been to Atlanta, but never been to Georgia. Well, if you've been to Atlanta, you've been to Georgia, but maybe you've just been. I've only been to Atlanta as far as being in an airport terminal. I've never actually been out in the town, but I'm sure it's a fine place. Every place probably has its good parts, and every place also has its bad parts. But you know how it is. All right, let's go to the next one. This is from Sasquatch Chronicles, October 16th. A feeling that I knew it wasn't a person. A listener writes, "It's taken me 2 years to get to the point where I can finally email you. I have 2 encounter stories with a personal project I want to tell you about. I would have liked to email you sooner, but I was working on my MBA, working full time, and couldn't dedicate the time to this topic that I wanted to. But I just finished my MBA and now I'm free." Oh, congratulations. That's a huge thing. "I also want to say thank you for providing such a good place for people to share their experiences, worry-free and judgment-free. You are kind and professional and only seek the truth with no hidden agenda, and I very much appreciate your show. I've not told anyone about the experiences I'm sharing below. I don't believe anyone would understand or believe. My first encounter took place in Northwest Florida, not far from my house in the summer of 2021. There are several nature trails near my home, along with the Florida Trail. My family and I were out walking, just enjoying the afternoon together. Well, on our way back, I began to hear footsteps, and at first I thought it was just someone else on the trail and didn't pay much attention to them. There are 6 of us in my family, and I was bringing up the rear to keep an eye on everyone. Well, I kept checking behind us to see who was coming up to us, but never saw anyone or anything. And then I noticed the footsteps stopped when I stopped. Well, I thought that was pretty odd. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to spook anyone, especially my wife, who tends to worry. Well, this back and forth of walking and stopping, mirrored by the footsteps, went on for about 10 minutes before my wife came to me with a worried look, asking if I was hearing footsteps. I told her I heard them but quickly explained it away as someone on an adjacent trail, and we just couldn't see. I knew there was not an adjacent trail, but she believed it, and we continued our walk back to the trailhead. Being former law enforcement, I was on edge, and I knew something was not right, but I did not know what it was. It was more of a feeling that I knew it wasn't a person. I've heard other people walking on this trail, and I know what that sounds like. And this was not it. Whatever it was followed us for a little while longer until we got within a couple 100 yards of the trailhead. We never heard anything else. We didn't smell anything and never saw anything. Although I looked as much as I could without scaring my wife, she kept looking back at me, and I did not want to look scared or worried. These footsteps were heavy, more heavy than any other animal I've ever heard. I've heard other animals in the woods, and I'm pretty experienced with black bears, And this was not it either. We had a resident black bear that came to my house when I lived in Orlando. My house was the only one not completely fenced in, and I had a lot of oak trees that dropped tons of acorns. Well, this bear and others would regularly come in at night, sit down, and just feast on them. I didn't think much about this strange thing that happened to us until my family's second encounter with something. Our second encounter took place in Colorado, specifically in Rocky Mountain National Park on December 22nd, 2021. My family really enjoys Colorado in the winter, especially RCNP. And this is one of the best things about the park. Even though they close at 5 p.m., you can stay as late as you want. On this particular visit, we made our way up to Bear Lake. And there's always lots of snow there because it's elevation. And the trails are fairly easy to follow even at night. Plus, there are latrines, and it was close to midnight. And we were finished playing in the snow. And now we were just watching the stars, and we were surprised at the number of satellites we saw passing overhead. Well, I was picking out constellations with my youngest daughter and just having a nice family moment with everyone. The parking lot is surrounded by trees, particularly on one side. My girls had wandered over near the tree line when all of a sudden this low guttural growl came from the trees. God, I'm pretty sure I know what that sounds like. The next thing I hear is the girls screaming, running across the parking lot, and after everyone calmed down, we grabbed some extra flashlights and went to see what the heck it was. We went up to the tree line and looked just inside. Yes, I'll admit, too afraid to go too far inside. I knew it was big, but had no idea what it could be. I knew it wasn't a bear. They're hibernating up there. It was December and about 18 degrees that night. The only thing it could have been in my mind was a mountain lion, but this growl had hundreds of pounds on any mountain lion. Again, we never saw or smelled anything. We looked the best we could for about 10 minutes before the girls were too freaked out to continue. I didn't blame them. Plus, if I got them hurt and I survived, my wife would kill me anyway. Yeah, you don't want to poke the bears, figuratively, especially when you got kids. You got to play it real careful. Were they encounters with Bigfoot or Sasquatch? I'll never know for sure. What I do know is that after I began looking for answers to the growl, Bigfoot became an entertaining answer. Then I began looking into Bigfoot just out of curiosity and learned that they're known to walk people out of the woods. And that reminded me of what happened to us on the walking trail near our home that summer. I began to look into Bigfoot more closely and became convinced that was making the footsteps we heard and more likely the growl we heard. I cannot for the life of me think of anything else in the woods that time of year with enough size to make that growl. Yeah, that's crazy. Mickey G says, I've never seen Bigfoot or Dogman, and that's okay. I mean, honestly, the whole Dogman thing, I'm good with not seeing those. And pretty much Bigfoot too. I don't know. I think that mostly Bigfoot encounters are benign or just incidental, but some of them are absolutely terrifying. And I wouldn't want to roll the dice and, maybe get one of the bad ones, But the Dogman ones are always pretty freaky. I mean, they are just a whole different animal, literally and figuratively, just because they seem to thrive on freaking us out. They seem to just calculate it and desire us to be afraid. There's something like that. Yeah, exactly. Chucky says, be careful what you wish for. Yeah, I agree. Well, there you go. That's the next story from SasquatchChronicles.com. Am I hearing my dog bark? All right. It's about 8:30. I guess we could jump over to Phantoms and Monsters now. I got a couple more from Sasquatch Chronicles, but I think we'll save those for Friday night and dig into them then. So Yeah, that scares me, Brent, as far as seeing either. Yeah, I think, generally speaking, they know you're there long before you do, and usually will just move out of the way. Dogman, on the other hand, he might get a kick out of intimidating you first, making you really afraid and then leave. But generally speaking, in both cases, they're not known to actively hurt people. Although there are First Nation legends and stories of them doing just that, both of them. So, do you want to roll the dice? Not me. Not me personally, but I don't know. I am curious for answers, but I'm also cautious for answers. I'm good with other people going out there and looking. I'm not really a Bigfoot researcher, or I'm an enthusiast because I'm fascinated with it, and I think I had a close encounter with a Bigfoot when I was young. I just heard the growling, but it stuck with me, and I do want to know for sure if that's possible. But that may be answers I'll never get until after I go to the next world, and then I can ask, hey, what was that growling? And then they can tell me, and I'll be, oh yeah, I thought so, and that'll be that. That'll put that to rest. But anyway, good story, and I appreciate it. Thanks again, Wes, letting us check out the Chronicles. All right, we're going to go over to Phantoms and Monsters. This is Lon Strickler's site. Amazing site as well. Lon's got thousands of stories over here of encounters, people seeing stuff. So go support phantomsandmonsters.com and check out Lon's YouTube channel, Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And that's also his podcast. So definitely check out all of that stuff and give him a lot of love and support. He also has several books that he's published that are listed on phantomsandmonsters.com. As well as some of the research efforts that they're into with like the Mothman and several cryptid stuff that they research actively across America. Yeah, well, but they said you saw Glegg. No, I didn't see Glegg. We covered that, Grandizer. We covered that one. All right, so anyway, let's continue on with Phantoms and Monsters from October 12th. Dark, skinny, hairy bipedal creature standing by corral in Shoshone, Idaho. That's not too far. Not too far, I don't think, from where I am. It might be. I don't know. It might be more south, come to think of it. But anyway, I'm in the north part of Idaho. So I don't know if Shoshone is anywhere near up here, if it's more south. A couple observes a dark, skinny, hairy bipedal creature, possibly a Bigfoot, standing along a corral on their property in Idaho. And it was seen again about a year later. Lon says, I received the following account. I've had two unexplained sightings. Both sightings happened close together. The first time was around the end of June 2015, witnessed by myself and my girlfriend 30 miles east of Shoshone, Idaho, at my new home I just moved into in May. The old farmhouse had been vacant for a few years, surrounded by fields, and the closest house was 5 miles away, and the closest town was 30 miles either way. I was coming home at about 10 p.m. one night, and I pulled off the main road into the little dirt road leading to my house. At about 20 yards away from my headlights, I saw a skinny, dark, hairy creature on 2 feet and under 6 feet tall take a few steps toward the corral and put its right hand limb on top of the corral fence, and then just go over the top. Not jumping, not running, just with absolute ease doing it. My girlfriend and I freaked out, but what happened next was the chilling part. The corral or fence is neck or head high to me, and I'm 6 feet tall. Well, after it went over the top, it ducked below the fence and looked up not once, but twice, its eyes glowing about a foot apart. Good God, that's a huge spread. I parked the truck at an angle with the lights facing it. I ran 30 yards to get my gun and spotlight, and my girlfriend was still in the truck watching, in fear for it to pop its head up again. I ran back thinking, don't shoot it. What if it's someone just playing games? Well, I shot above the corrals, and after I fired, I could hear but not see something big moving further back through all the other corrals. The next morning, I found the spot where it stood looking over the corral. 2 perfect indents were in the weeds and a trail where it escaped into the field. The second sighting was on June 7th, 2016, as it walked past my living room window. Seen by myself and my teenage daughter, it walked past the window at the same time, just past 10 p.m. I ran out within seconds with my shotgun and spotlight. Nothing. It either has wings or is invisible. I'm posting this in hopes of figuring out what I'm up against. I'm not after attention, nor do I want people thinking I'm nuts, but it's real. Wow. And there's no note from Lon on here, but very interesting. I don't know about the whole skinny thing. I don't know. It looks like this AI depiction shows a tail. He never mentioned a tail. But, wow, I don't know. I mean, it's possible that there are, the indents as in footsteps, the indents in the grass were where it was allegedly standing as it looked over the fence at them with the weird eyes. So it was behind him. It blended into the night. Could have been. Could have been Grandizer. It's hard to know. Yep, I don't know. But there could just be the biodiversity that some of the Bigfoot are not these big hulking creatures. Some of them might just be lanky and more scraggly. Or maybe it's just some rogue one that doesn't really have a family and it's just kind of trying to get by. Maybe it's sickly. Who knows? It obviously seems to be plenty capable of looking after itself, but may not be on the same playing field as some of those big alphas and stuff. So it's just hanging out near these farms. I don't know. Hard to say. It's all speculation. I can't possibly know, but it's interesting. All right, here we go. Another one from Phantoms and Monsters. This one's kind of a weird one-off one. Now, I've never heard of something like this before, but let's have a look. Shiny black, white-eyed quadrupedal creature observed near Hillsboro, Ohio. Again, Ohio is a hotbed for all kinds of strangeness. I don't know what it is about Ohio, but my God, they got plenty of things going on. Let's see what it says. 2 female friends were driving near Hillsboro, Ohio, when they observed a completely black and white quadruped exiting the tall grass along the road. The following account was forwarded to me. Hi. Back in 2014, I came across something that I had never seen before, and still to this day, I have no idea what it was. I remember that day as if it were yesterday. It was summer and the evening was hot and it was sticky. My best friend Kim and I were on our way to Winchester, Ohio, and she'd been dating a boy and they ended up breaking up like a few days before. And we're going to his house to exchange property, and I was there to make sure everything went smoothly. Well, after we did the exchange of property, we headed back to my town of Hillsboro. Winchester was like an hour or so away, and it was getting dark. We were on the back roads listening to music and just jamming out, and we were, I'm assuming, halfway home, and we're coming over a hill. Night had fallen, and on the left side of the car was long grass, and it was super long, like taller than me. As we reached the top of the hill, we saw a black figure come out of the long grass. Well, at first we thought it was just some random animal since we were in the middle of nowhere, but as we got closer, we realized it wasn't. The figure was on all fours and crawled on its hands and knees. I know that if it had stood up, it would have been at least 6'4", maybe taller. When our headlights hit it, we got a better look, and it turned its head and looked at us. It was completely black and shiny, looking like it was dipped in tar. Its eyes were round and milky white, and its mouth was full of sharp teeth. I remember my blood ran cold, and Kim asked me what it was, but I didn't know. She asked me what we should do, and I had the strange feeling that if we stopped the car, something bad was going to happen. So I told her to floor it and don't stop. Well, as we got closer, it turned around and went back into the long grass. And we haven't spoken about it since. ever since I saw it, I've been trying to rack my brain, trying to figure out what it was. I've done research and have come up with nothing. And just thinking about it sends chills down my spine. Any idea what we saw? This one does have a note from Lon. I have no clue as to what these witnesses observed. Yeah, me either. I have no idea what they saw. And this is what I do for a living, and I don't know what they saw. I've never heard this description before, and I wouldn't even have an idea. You know, you got to assume if its eyes are milky white, is it seeing, or is it some kind of blind thing that's existing somehow else? Maybe some kind of sonar like a bat or something. I don't know. Hell, it's just an idea, but it's all milky or like shiny and black with white milky eyes, a lot of sharp teeth. I don't know. It sounds absolutely wrong, whatever the hell it is. But that's the depiction that they gave it from I guess the description of the story. So that's disturbing. I don't know. These one-offs like this are really perplexing because you don't really know. Hellhound, well, maybe. I don't know. You know, the legends of the Hellhound are nothing new. They've been around. There's apparently a church in England that was torn up by a hellhound, and the whole place burned down with people in it. And some people got attacked by the hellhound before that happened. So, but this is way, way back when. But there was lots of witnesses to it. Creepy stuff, whatever it was. But I don't know what that is. I don't have a good suggestion even. Just sounds like it's one of those something else things. I think we got time for another one here. Let's see what we got. Here's another Bigfoot report. Let's see what else there is. Experience or details, abduction. Oh, we can read maybe that one on Friday. It's not really cryptid, but it is interesting. So let's read this Bigfoot one. Chases biologists in Lewis and Clark National Historic Park in Oregon. This is from October 11th, 2024. Brent is trying to scare us tonight. This is what I like, but don't go too far. Nah, I don't want to scare you. Do more Frogman stories. There aren't very many. There's the Loveland Frogman, and that's about all that I know about offhand. I mean, this could have been a frogman of some kind for all we know, but I don't know. It's very different. All right, the Bigfoot chases biologists in Lewis and Clark National Historical Park in Oregon. A group of biologists working for the National Park Service recall an encounter with a Bigfoot who chased and kept pace with them while driving along a river. I received the following account. A couple of years ago, before the COVID pandemic, my brother took a 3-month job at Lewis and Clark National Historical Park in the Pacific Northwest. For everyone's info, if you're under a certain pay level, GS level, I think it's called, in the National Park Service, it's very common to bounce around to different parks every season. Once you're more experienced, you can apply for a permanent work. And that's why he's worked at 5 or 6 parks. Well, anyway, his job was to help plant trees in this area that were logged at one point. He's working with a small team, a couple of whom were experienced biologists who'd worked in the park for decades. One night after work, he kind of jokingly asked if they'd seen a Bigfoot or Sasquatch in all their years of working. Well, they got kind of quiet and basically admitted they had one weird experience. 2 of his co-workers who were doing field work with on an old logging road in the backcountry of the park, the road ran parallel to a river. One day when they were driving along, they saw on the opposite side of the river what looked like, and I quote, a very tall man, head to toe in black, wearing what they thought was at first a hoodie. Apparently, upon seeing their car, this thing took off after them. What scared my brother's friends was that they were going relatively fast in the car, and this thing was running parallel to them across the river and was keeping up with them. It was jumping over logs and big rocks and moving like a human, not another animal. His friends don't like talking about it because it scared the hell out of them. These are very successful biologists in their field. I guess they don't want everyone to think they're nuts because they had a run-in with a Bigfoot. Yeah, that could be career suicide, I suppose. Just to say, hey, we were being chased by a Bigfoot. That doesn't go over well in governmental circles or scientific circles for the most part. I'm just thankful there's people like Jeff Meldrum and, like John Bindernagel before him, and John Green and, so many others who had just kind of put themselves out there and said, yeah, we believe these things are real. I'm just so grateful for that. The Bigfoot was trying to tell them, you will get a ticket if you go this fast. Yeah. Maybe he was pacing them. Maybe he was. Good point. That's pretty cool, though. 8:46. God, we really do have time for one more. I don't know. Should we do this one or should I pull up a different one? I'm not quite sure. I guess we can just do this one. I got better. Chucky got better. Good. Glad you did, Chucky. Maybe Newt Wizards. He turned me into a human. I got better. Maybe so. I've unheard the Loveland account. Or is that unheard or never heard? Have you never heard the Loveland Frogman? Oh yeah, you should look it up. It's kind of interesting. Brent, allegedly the creature of Boogie Creek chases vehicles. Who's the creature? Oh, you mean Boggy? Creature of Boggy Creek from down south, like what is that, Mississippi or Louisiana? Yeah. Yeah, I guess it could be true. I don't know. It has. I know that it has. People apparently had their car attacked by it, and it was one of the original claims back in the 60s or 50s of somebody being these two lovers sitting out there doing some kissy face, and apparently their car got attacked by this strange creature. Maybe it was a Bigfoot type of creature, but that description I believe is almost more lizardly. But who knows? We've not heard much about legend of, I think Boggy, B-O-G-G, not B-O-O-G-E, Boggy, E-Y. So it's B-O-G-G-Y, not Bogey, Boggy, 2 G's. Arkansas. Okay. Yeah, you might be right, Grandizer. That may be it. Better floor it then. Always floor it. When it comes to being chased by something, just, put it down. Just put it down. Put that pedal down. All right, well, let's read this one. This is one I have open and it's available, and we got enough time for one more. Experiencer details abduction by golden-haired Nordic humans. Is this cryptid? No, it's definitely UFO extraterrestrial, but we might as well hit a UFO story here. Kind of round out our night. So let's do this. All right, and this is from October 12th from phantomsandmonsters.com. The experiencer was hiking and camping in Northern California when he observed a saucer-shaped flying craft, and he was later abducted and describes the ordeal in detail. I received the following accounts. I've never been interested in aliens or UFOs. I've honestly always been pretty scared of the whole thing. I remember seeing signs when I was like 12, and it literally terrified me for weeks. But I've thought about this phenomena as science fiction until I experienced something that I presume most people won't believe. About 8 years ago, I was camping with a friend in a very remote part of Northern California. I'm a massive wilderness junkie, and I've been camping all my life, and I spend much of my free time hiking, rock climbing, hunting, etc. A buddy of mine who also enjoys the outdoors wanted to head up to the Sierras for a weekend and asked me to go with him. Well, it was our second night, and we were sitting up by the fire. We weren't staying at a campsite. We had hiked about 10 miles from our cars to a clearing with a beautiful view, and we had stayed at once before. It was around 10 p.m., and we ate some food, and we're just checking out the stars. He was tired and went to sleep in his tent, and I just wanted to stay up for a while. And about 45 minutes after he went to bed, I saw this object coming up from the valley below. It was a basic flying saucer shape with multiple circular lights rotating around the edges that changed colors over and over. And I was absolutely shocked. That's interesting. That's kind of what I saw, except it was all in green because it was through night vision. I watched it for maybe 15 seconds and then decided I had to wake him up so he could see it and wouldn't think that I was crazy. I stood, and when I looked back towards it, the thing was gone. I called out his name, and that's when everything got really screwed up. I didn't hear my own voice when I called out. Everything was completely silent. I could move my eyes around, but I couldn't move my body. I remember seeing the fire had completely frozen. Everything looked like a picture, like time had stopped or something. Then there was a flash of light, and I blacked out. I woke up later just as the sun was starting to rise. I was outside lying in the dirt, shivering next to the fire that had long gone out. I felt like I had been drugged, totally in this haze. And I sluggishly yelled out his name a couple of times, and he came out of the tent, and he was really confused, to say the least. I tried to explain what happened, but my memory was really foggy, and I just couldn't articulate it. Well, we left within 30 minutes. I was totally silent on the car ride back, falling in and out of sleep for 7 hours. He dropped me off at my house, and I passed out for basically an entire day. A few weeks later, I was messing around with an amp, and it released this static woo sound. And when I unplugged my guitar, for some reason, this sound somehow triggered my memory, and I remembered everything. When I came back into consciousness, I was suspended laterally in this circular mechanism in a position very similar to Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. These clear glass-like shackle-type restraints were holding me in place. I was completely nude, and standing above me were your 3 typical grays. They were around 4 feet tall and were wearing white spandex-like suits. 2 were just standing there observing the other, who was extracting blood from a vein under my armpit with this weird-looking syringe. Although they didn't show any real reaction, I could just tell that they were surprised that I was awake. I couldn't move at all except for my eyes and lips. I was absolutely terrified, in a sort of fight or flight mode, my heart pounding from an influx of adrenaline. I can't even begin to tell you how scared I was, but I also felt total rage. I wanted to kill them. I wanted to rip out of this device and completely destroy them. My brain went total primal, just animal instinct, and I could just tell that they could sense my anger because they all stepped back simultaneously. I'm 6'3" and 185 and was hoping I looked as threatening as possible, which is silly because I was totally paralyzed and therefore completely harmless. 2 of them disappeared from my view and presumably left the room. The other one was just staring at me, void of any emotion. I wanted so badly to just shut my eyes, but I forced myself to just stare right back at it, trying my hardest not to blink. Then the 2 grays came back, and now they weren't alone. I honestly couldn't believe my eyes. Standing between them were 2 very tall, very human-looking beings, a male and a female, and they looked like Norse gods. They both had bright golden hair and beautiful eyes. The males were dark blue and the females were violet. I suppose they are what the UFO community refers to as Nordics. And this is quite bizarre to me. My family descended from Sweden, and I'm a very Nordic looking with blonde hair, blue eyes, the works. I know this is cliche, but I heard a feminine voice in my mind, and for some reason, I could understand what she was telling me, although it wasn't like she was saying anything in English. It's really hard to explain, but I just knew. She told me something like, "Be calm. You're not in danger." I relaxed and asked her what they wanted with me. And she said they were just checking up on me. Well, I practically black out after hearing that, and I asked her what she meant, and she said that they had saved me when I first came into being. I immediately knew exactly what she was talking about. I was born practically 2 months premature. My mother was horribly sick during labor, and we both had fevers of 104. The strange thing was the doctors had absolutely no idea what was wrong with us. I was given 2 spinal taps and my mother was given 3. I spent 4 nights in that bubble housing ICU thing. And there was a decent chance I was going to die. Then one day, I just started getting better and immediately made a full recovery. The doctors were very worried that the whole ordeal might have prematurely damaged my body and possibly my brain, but I was totally fine. I asked her, "Why did you save me?" And this time I heard a deep male voice stating, "This is a conversation for a later time." I asked him if they were human, and he said no. I was confused considering that they looked quite human. I asked him if the man had come from them, and he said yes. They had come here 200,000 years ago and created mankind by combining their DNA with that of our primate ancestors. I wanted to know why they looked especially similar to me more than other humans, and he stated that many males of their kind found female humans attractive and mated with them. And this directly passed on some of their physical features to Nordic peoples. I wanted to know more, but they declined and said it was time for me to go back. And I blacked out instantly and woke up by the extinguished campfire, clothes on and shivering. I understand that this sounds absolutely ridiculous and very impossible, but it happened and I don't know what to do. I've been completely lost since the encounter so many years ago, but I already feel relief after writing to you. Wow. That's an incredible account. It does seem to mirror the whole chariots of the gods idea of the Anunnaki and them creating human beings from their DNA and then someone else's. I don't know. I wonder Brent. No wonder Brent plays disco for his new segments. He likes to boogie. I didn't even pick disco for that. That's Wes. You got to blame Wes for that. I didn't select the playlist for it, but I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. But no, I'm not really a disco fan. Even in the 70s, I guess I appreciated disco for what it was, but I was never a big fan. I was more into like Van Halen, Kiss, early, Ozzy stuff, some old Black Sabbath, more of the rock stuff. I was more of a rock kind of person back in the day. But anyway, I don't know. I guess that's our journey tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the Nordic story. Maybe. Do you think maybe we were created by these extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, whatever the hell they are, beings? Maybe. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just here doing a portal. So I don't have the answers, unfortunately, but I think it's pretty fascinating things to discuss. But I do know that we're about out of time. It is 8:59. Take care. Love to you all. Love to you too, Nikki. Thank you so much Mickey, rather. Thanks for coming in and being a part of it. Always a metalhead. Yeah, pretty much, Justin. Always been. Always got a deep love for. I love the classics too. Don't get me wrong, but I like new music as well. I just like music, but not so much disco. That was always too manufactured for me. Much like a lot of hip hop and pop today. It's like, yeah, it's got catchy hooks and melodies and stuff, but it just doesn't have a shelf life like that good old music that's been good for decades. Like, I don't think anybody will be, singing Bruno Mars, much into the future. Probably most people don't now. It was good songs. I like Bruno Mars. He's a good songwriter, but it's just all manufactured. They miss that heart that real music, real instruments bring to a presentation. And the fact that it's not just computer timed and everything is so precise. I like real bands where there's a respiration to the music. It's like Might not always be exactly dead on the beat, but it's close, and it actually invokes an emotion with those pauses and delays, and maybe the fact that it has energy of its own. So I don't know. Like that crunchy old Grateful Dead, not so much. I've never been a big Grateful Dead fan. Not that I don't appreciate their music, but I just have never, it's never really resonated strongly with me. But I respect what they did. So anyway, that's enough of the rock talk. This is going to do it for us. Good night to you, Shirley. Thank you so much for coming in. Hope your neck feels better. I like the old 60s and 70s music, although I do like some of the others, depending. Yeah. I'm going to play just a clip of a song that I rediscovered. And it's one that I knew when I was young. I listened to it all the time. But I'm going to play you just a snippet of it. See if you guys recognize it. Because it brings back a hell of a lot of memories for me of being a young kid in the 70s. I don't know. And I know that makes me old, but I'm still really immature, so that all works. But let me play this for you, and I'm not going to play enough to get into copyright hell here, but I just want to play a little bit of it. But I got to do it carefully. So here we go.
And ooh, I love you. You came along from far away and found me here.
Huh? Come on, tell me that's not great music. That song brings back so much of my childhood. It's so crazy. I heard it and I went, oh my God, I haven't heard that since I was young. But that's by Climax Blues Band, and it's called I Love You. I don't know if you guys know that song or not, or if all of you know it or some of you know it, but that's a classic. Yeah, that one brings back so many memories. It's like, oh God, I can remember being in the community swimming pool and hearing it over those Coney tinny speakers and just jamming, or any number of things. It's fun. That is the soft rock. Yeah, that's totally a throwback, right? But it's the Climax Blues Band. It was kind of their one-hit wonder, but such a good song. Brings back memories. Anyway, speaking of memories, I hope you will remember to come back on Friday night and Saturday night. We do these live streams Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Sheldon should be with me on Friday. Jimmy couldn't make it tonight. He sends his apologies, but it's just life happens, folks. So anyway, give me some Dio. Absolutely. Like an angel in the dark. Yep, absolutely. All right, that's about it for me. That's all I got for you. And I hope you guys come back on Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, all 3 days that we do live streams. So I hope you remember, and I hope you'll come back. But that's all I got for you tonight, folks. Take care. Love you all. Be good. Be kind. Be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And I'll see you back here Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Until then, take care of yourselves. Love you, mean it. See you next time.